How's it going, everybody? Let's start off with me asking, what do you think about when you hear about Microsoft? Some might say Xbox, others say Windows, some say, what are you talking about? Point is, we in some way have came across Microsoft in some sort of way, but let's go to where it started. It all began in 1975, a time when disco was blaring, phones had cords, and computers were mostly giant cubes that hissed at you when turned on. Two guys, Bill Gates and Paul Allen, looked at a blinking box called the Altair 8800 and said, you know what this needs? Basic. And by basic, I mean the programming language, not the pumpkin spice latte type. They whipped up a version of it and boom, Microsoft was born. That's right, with a hyphen. It was removed later like a regrettable tattoo. By 1980, IBM approached them with a classic problem. We need an operating system. Microsoft, not owning one, did what any scrappy startup would do. They bought one for $75,000. It was called QDOS, which stood for Quick and Dirty Operating System, the kind of name you whisper at job interviews. They rebranded it as MS-DOS, short for Microsoft Disk Operating System, and made a licensing deal instead of selling it. In startup language, that's called making it rain. MS-DOS made Microsoft rich. Then came Windows in 1985. Not actual Windows, mind you. A graphical user interface so normal people could use a computer without needing a wizard staff and a CS degree. It still ran on top of DOS, so it was like dressing a rock in a tuxedo and hoping nobody noticed. Then, 1995. Windows 95 launched and everything changed. It had a start button, it had a taskbar, it had a startup sound composed by Brian Eno, because who doesn't want ambient sound art when booting up Clippy? From there, Microsoft was unstoppable. They released Internet Explorer, bundled it with Windows, and gave Netscape a heart attack. The United States Department of Justice sued them for being a little too enthusiastic about world domination. Bill Gates testified and blinked like a Morse code distress signal. Despite the lawsuits, the product train kept rolling. Windows XP glorious, Windows Vista, a digital swamp, Windows 7, the apology, Windows 8, an experimental jazz album no one asked for, Windows 10, a redemption arc, Windows 11, all curves, widgets, and that one icon you can never find. Microsoft is no longer just the Windows company. They own LinkedIn because networking. They bought GitHub, where developers scream into the void. They own Minecraft. Yes, the block game your cousin won't stop talking about. They even tried to buy TikTok, but let's not talk about that. And let's not forget Bing. The search engine you use when you misspell Google, but lately, Bing's on a glow-up tour. They added ChatGPT. They renamed it Copilot. They integrated it into Microsoft Edge so hard you have to uninstall half your soul to remove it. Then there's Clippy, the paperclip assistant we all roasted but secretly loved. Clippy was ahead of his time, an AI assistant with no boundaries and a paper fetish. So what is Microsoft today? A trillion-dollar tech colossus that makes cloud infrastructure, office tools, game consoles, developer platforms, and occasionally, meme-worthy updates that brick your PC on a Tuesday night. Whether you love them, tolerate them, or yell at them when your Outlook freezes during a Zoom call, Microsoft is here to stay. And me personally, I give respect to Microsoft because I've always admired Windows ever since I was 10 years old. And that, my friends, is the history of Microsoft. What are your thoughts about Microsoft? What Windows operating system do you use? Put it down in the comments and let me know. I personally use Windows 10 on my 4GB of RAM laptop. If you want to know how much RAM you actually need, click on the video on the top right card. This has been a Tech Blunt Honesty video. Before I sign off, I would like to say thank you guys for subscribing to this channel. At the time of this video is being made, the subscriber count is 81. I appreciate every single one of you for giving this channel a chance. If you're new here, welcome. You might want to subscribe because I do quick documentaries about companies and talk about different products that are good and bad. But with a twist, stuff does take a random turn. If that sounds like the thing for you, then click that red button. Until then, this is TBH signing off.